Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good day and salam UITM di hatiku. Distinguished lecturers, honored guests, members of the organizing committee, and dear students. Alhamdulillah, all praise be to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for His blessing and permissions, which have allowed us to gather today for the Knowledge Culture program organized by the Sultan Badlishah Library through the Speakers Corner program in collaboration with Faculty of Information Science UITM Kedah. Today's program serves as a platform for knowledge sharing, idea exchange, and intellectual discourse, while also fostering a culture of critical thinking and effective communication among students. It is hoped that programs such as this will help nurture confidence, knowledgeable, and competitive students in line with the aspiration of the university. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let us begin today's program with enthusiasm and an open mind so that every sharing session and discussion may bring benefits to all. And now I would like to invite the participants to begin the session. Please welcome.
Alright, Assalamualaikum. My name is Arif Daniel bin Nasir and I will be discussing gender bias in communication. Now, imagine yourselves in a discussion. You have a point to add. Sorry, someone brought up a point. You have something to add. However, they just simply scoff at you and dismiss you. I'm sure the women here don't need to imagine that hypothetical. This is one of the examples of gender bias in communication. Gender bias, according to Google, is the unfair, unequal treatment or prejudice against individuals based on their gender. Most people have these thoughts subconsciously, an effect of their upbringing. However, willingly or not, these thoughts can sow division among coworkers and cause the productivity to halt. Now that we know what gender bias is, let us take an in-depth look, starting with the unequal treatment in nonverbal communication. Most people do or say things subconsciously that might put other people off and discourage them from talking. Men, for example, use body language to project power. This includes taking up more space and using gestures to convey control. They are also more likely to mask their emotions in order to project power. They are also more likely to be more direct with their speech. Women, on the other hand, are more better at identifying and understanding nonverbal cues, which includes using body language, gestures, and facial expressions to convey emotion and build rapport. Um, this would in turn make the discussion more collaborative and inclusive. These differences in communication may cause one side to think the other is incompetent. Also, in a male dominated group, a woman's opinions may be seen as lesser simply because she speaks differently. Which brings me to my next point, the effects on confidence and workplace study and environment. Such a large problem would naturally have a proportionally sized effect. This can be seen in an academic environment, but also in a work environment. One such effect would be the erosion in a woman's self-confidence and self-esteem. When constantly faced with discrimination from their peers, a woman may start to begin to doubt her abilities. She may also develop uh, imposter syndrome or anxiety. Another effect is a noticeable drop in productivity. Uh, the woman may feel disengaged from doing tasks that are assigned from them. And as studies show, workers who feel disengaged from their tasks are more likely to injure themselves and commit errors in their work. Finally, within an organization with a greater discrimination, some women may have lower hopes or expectations for promotions and raises. Now that we've discussed the problems, let us discuss how we can curb these gender biases. You may be surprised to hear that such a large problem has a very simple solution. Here are some ways that you can challenge gender bias through effective communication. One amazing way is to simply listen to what a woman must say. There's a reason why she's there, and there's a it's probably because she's just as good as you or even better. Plus, it's good to hear a different perspective. Next, it's also important to not reinforce gender stereotypes by delegating menial tasks to women and letting men do all the important tasks. you are unknowingly perpetuating negative gender stereotypes. And finally, you must embrace openness. If you touch some things in for your entire life, it may be hard or uncomfortable to unlearn those things, but you'll get there eventually. Now we have come to the end of my speech. To wrap up, allow me to summarize. Today we have learned about the unequal treatment in verbal and nonverbal interaction, effects on confidence and workplace study environment, and ways to challenge bias through effective communication. After hearing my speech, I hope you can become better people and be a shining paragon for all to see. Thank you very much.
Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Noaimini Minta Muhammad Ziad. I'm from class KSI 1442A. And today my topic is social comparison on social media. As we may know, social media play a crucial role in our daily life. People use it to share their daily life experience, their relationship, or even their achievement. It can lead to many possible outcomes. It compare our or one of it is comparing outside inequality to people on the internet. Social comparison can be divided into two types: upward social comparison and downward social comparison. Upward social comparison is when we compare ourselves with someone that we believe is more superior than ourselves or more better than ourselves. So this type of comparison belief that it can lift our spirits and motivate us to be better. But however, it different when it comes to downward social comparison. Downward social comparison is when we are comparing ourselves with someone is far lower than us to make us feel better about our own abilities and it to boost up our own self-esteem. But despite all of that, it didn't improve on anything at all because when we think we believe that we are better than anyone else, we didn't even improve on ourselves at all. How, however, this type comparison can be led to inaccurate self-assessment. Let's start with comparing lifestyles and appearance can be led to inaccurate self-assessment. Comparing ourselves can be both beneficial for us, but also can be harmful. The difference is how comparison being made or whether it was upward or downward. Okay, social comparison is a theory that made by a psychologist named Leon Festinger in 1954. He stated that some individuals feel insecure, increase their self-worth by comparing themselves to others. This comparison can be anything to someone's life. It might be about their relationship, it might be about their achievement, their lifestyle, or even their appearance. It can boost your self-esteem or it can make us feel worse about ourselves. However, these days, people tend to socially compare themselves with people on the internet with using the upward social comparison. It made them feeling worse about themselves instead of the opposite. This type of comparison is to normalize among peers, whether it was close in age or same age as them. As example, Sarah felt proud of herself, but when she opened her social media and see how her friends' grade is better than her, she can help but compare herself with the others. And instead of be grateful about what she had, she feels bad about herself because her grade is lower than her friend. So now let's jump to next topic about social comparison and self-concept. Okay, there's many negative effect because of comparing ourselves to the people on the internet. The negative social comparison, or in another word, of fear missing out, worry of someone is far more better than us that can impact our mental health in many ways. So first, it increases the risk of depression. Constantly comparing ourselves with people on social media can worsen depression. Feeling envy and down about because of what is someone been posting on social media can be worsened to depression if we didn't draw the line on it. Second, eating disorder. It always associate with someone who been comparing their body image with people on the social media. Sometimes it been caused by the influencer who promoted the so-called healthy lifestyle to get their ideal body, but most of them, their body already been filtered or edited. Third, it decreased overall well-being. Some research say that people who chronically online or who frequently has high social media screen time usage, upward of 5 hour days, uh, have shown a symptom of having suffering from depression or might be thinking about a thought of having a suicide. Lastly, poor body image. It was crucial factor in self-esteem. It is common for both men and women on social media. Despite both of gender having different experience when it comes to their body standards, but both still vulnerable to their poor body image and low self-esteem. Now, you have known the effect of the negative effect on self-concept and confidence. Now, let's jump into how to manage the comparison. In order to minimize social comparison, there are many things that we can do to manage it. First, limit social media screen time use. Set day or time limits for particular social media platform. It can help reduce the amount of time we spend on social media. Second, practice gratitude. Instead of focus about others, try to focus on ourselves first. Stop focusing on something we don't have, but focus on something we had. Try appreciating every single thing that you had. It didn't matter how big or small it is. Sometimes appreciating small things can be helpful in minimizing comparison. Third, focus on the positive. Instead of focusing on the negative comparison, try to follow people or posts that make you feel better about yourself and can increase your self-esteem. Now we have come to the end. Let me summarize everything that I have been talked about. Today we had learned that what is social comparison is about and what had caused it and how to manage it. After hearing this informative speech, I hope it can help you guys to um, gain a new information about what I just talked about. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Aliadiana binti Muhammad Midun. I am from KSI 1442A and my topic for today is spread of hate speech online. Have you ever scrolled through social media and felt the sting of words that divide rather than unite? This is what we call online hate speech. It refers to the use of offensive language. According to Liu et al., studies show that online hate speech has doubled in the past decade, influencing not just individuals but the entire community. Every day, people get emotionally hurt and pressured by the words that are thrown to them on the screen. This can cause them to isolate themselves from society and experience social anxiety. Let's start with the first main point, which is how hate speech escalates conflict. Hate speech is not just about offensive language, but it is a communication that incites, instigates, or promotes hatred, humiliation, or contempt toward individuals or groups, typically based on characteristics such as race, ethnicity, age, disability, gender, or sexual orientation. Hate speech escalates because it increases agreement with hostile viewpoints. This is because exposure to hate speech can raise intentions to share the content with others. This will lead to hateful messages reach wider audiences and spread more quickly. For example, imagine a person sees a social media post claiming that a certain group's ethnicity is taking over jobs and harming the local economy. After reading it, the person agrees with the message and decides to share it with their followers. Then their followers would agree with it, share it, and add even more negative comments. As the post spreads, members of the targeted group will feel attacked and they will respond defensively. This eventually leads to arguments between groups and a wider divide between communities. Now that you have known about how hate speech escalates conflict, let's move on to the next main point, which is influence on community perception and polarization. The constant usage of hate speech has been normalized by the community. First, hate speech reshapes public perception. This happens when repeated exposure normalizes hostile perceptions. For instance, a teenager joins a social media platform such as X, where people frequently post harsh comments and insults about others' appearances. At first, the teenager feels uncomfortable and sees the comment as clearly hateful. But doom scrolling through similar posts every day, they will start to view this kind of language as normal online behavior. Hence, they may even begin to use similar words themselves without thinking it is that serious. There are also psychological mechanisms that deepen polarization. Polarization in this context describes the increasing divisions of opinions into distinct and often opposing groups. For example, audiences feel a personal bond with the people that post the hate comments, causing them to trust that perspective more. Now that you have learned about the influence on community perception and polarization, let's jump to the last main point, which is a role of responsible communication in red communication. As social media users, we need to have some responsibility when posting something to avoid misinterpretation in red communication. Red communication is described as being assertive and decisive, but its direct and straightforward style can overlap with the way hate speech circulates online. It can be perceived as aggressive or hostile when tone is lost in text. Red communication may unintentionally resemble hate speech because it is short, sharp, and emotionally charged statements. Now, responsible communication acts as a safeguard online, which is being clear without sounding rude. To put it simply, instead of commenting something like, "You are clueless, stop talking," it is better to put it as, "I disagree with what you have said," and state the reason why. With simple changes like this, we can avoid unintentional, aggressive posts or comments online. Now we have come to an end. Let me briefly summarize the main points. Today we have learned about the three main points of spread of hate speech online, which are how hate speech escalates conflict, influence on community perception and polarization, and also role of responsible communication in red communication. After listening to this informative speech, I hope it can help you to be aware of the different main points of spread of hate speech online to prevent widespread aggressive speech. Every main points have their own importance of information. Thank you very much for lending your ears.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. My name is Akaili Saini bin Hakimi and I'm honored to be standing here to inform my audience about miscommunication in social media. Okay. Social media. Social media is a platform that connects people with others, including others that are living abroad or someone that you saw every single day. But sometimes the posts that we made are often being misread by others. Things like lack of nonverbal cue, miscommunication, as well as overuse of short form is the main cause of this miscommunication. These problems are fairly common and tend to let people sorry these problems are fairly common and tend to let people to be understanding information differently. Most people nowadays are only thought that this problem come from the rapid user influx, as well as the understanding that everything should be simplified for for sorry everything should be simplified that for faster response and posting time. This is also caused from the mentality of people nowadays with go with the flow and thinking that without thinking for a moment that their posts are understandable or not. And so, let us first start with understanding the primary factor on which is lack of nonverbal cue. Lack of nonverbal cue or lack of nonverbal communication is a problem that arises when the large part of communication happen within social media. By the definition, nonverbal cue are the transmission of message without the use of word. it main focus on 5 key points, which is the use of body language, facial expression, gesture, eye contact, and a tone of voice. Studies made by Alvina Wajahat in her study of social media and its impact on verbal communication have stated that most of the conversation happen online, so people could not perceive what your emotions are currently being shown off. Lack of nonverbal cue could alter the perception of nonverbal cue by itself by constant exposure to edited and filtered image on the social media. It may distort individual perception to the point of giving unrealistic expectation in real world interaction. Like this is somewhat reducing the sensitivity, particularly the younger generation, to nonverbal cue when dealing with real person in real life. Lack of nonverbal cue also can lead to reduce in emotional connection and making most of the interaction felt meaningless, as it is difficult to convey emotion, making social media becoming isolated. Lack of nonverbal cue within the social media itself is a problem that existed when lack of non-emotion are being shown, as people making posts about themselves while masking their entire state of mind. Because of social media is a platform where people posting things about themselves, some people use this platform to coexist as an anti-social group that prefer communication through digital media, which ultimately leads to problem when faced with real people in real life. Now, you already know about the lack of nonverbal communication. You already probably about misinterpretation of text messages. What are they? Misinterpretation of text messages is another factor that mostly happen due to lack of nonverbal cue or misunderstanding of the message given. In social media, people could send their message to their friend using the built-in chat messaging function. When come to misinterpretation of text messaging itself, this messaging function it can make the receiver receive the message receive the message interpret the whole conversation quite differently than what are the sender are stated. Based on what I can gather, there is 2 key misunderstanding that usually happen. First, based on studies made by Frisky Juliana Nurnisia, stated that people assume that once a message is sent, it should be replied immediately, and make a lot of and this has make a lot of impact when if people if people is left hanging and without any response, and then mistyping can lead to text becoming unintelligible and misleading. Misinterpretation of text messages can make someone fail to grasp the information that is given and can lead to broken relationship within partners and fight between social friends if the words are considered not harsh by the sender, but it will be different to the receiver. The point is, a conversation that are being happen need to have the context to ensure that all party within the same conversation can understand what are actually being said to avoid such misunderstanding from happening. Finish with misinterpretation of text messages. Finally, we came to overuse of short form or emojis. Short form or emojis is a way to simplify a sentence and now becoming a norm for everyone to use in their daily life. Short form started in 2010, mid 2000 as a way to simplify a text in social internet chat room as well as SMS. Meanwhile, the usage of emojis widely used in social media in the year of 2010 based on its predecessor, the emoticon by Shigetaka Kurita. These 2 ways of simplified sentence to convey information are widely received by mostly the younger generation, and with a small amount of older generation that understood its usage. But overuse of its usage also could lead to misunderstanding in social media. Overuse usage of short form could be redundant by some, making people becoming skeptical with the information that are being given. While it is good to simplifying a sentence, most people have made the message to the point that no one understand what anything have been said. unintelligible, I must say. Emojis could have a different meaning according to the region. Example, the palm hand in Pakistan actually meant you are actually hurling curses at the reader, while the whole world understand it as a high five. People, especially the younger generation, need to remember that most of the people that they could have interacted within the social media itself could be from the older generation. They will have a difficulty when trying to decipher anything that are being shortened if they don't have anyone to interpret it with. Now we have come to the end. Let me briefly summarize the main key point. Today, we have learned about miscommunication in social media and the factors leading to this, which are lack of nonverbal cue, misinterpretation of text messages, and overuse of short form and emojis. After hearing this informative speech, I hope it can help you to be aware about the different types of, I'm sorry, the different factor leading to miscommunication, especially when you try to convey one information by yourself in social media. This problem can alter the information that are being received and making misunderstanding to all users of social media. That's all for me. My name is Saikali Saini, signing out.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Asma Kristina, and today I will talk about fake news and misinformation. Imagine scrolling through your feed and seeing a shocking headline. Most of us feel an immediate urge to share it instantly. But have you ever stopped to consider that the news is actually true? Fake news spread rapidly through communication channels like social media platforms that prioritize emotion over facts. This misinformation has a deep impact on our society by creating confusions and shifting public opinions on important issues. We can protect ourselves and others by mastering simple verification techniques to ensure that the information we share is accurate. Let's start by looking at how misinformation spread through our devices. Advancing technology and growth in social media use contributes to the spread of fake news. Online fake news can be spread through bots. Bot is described as a computer algorithm that automatically produce a content and interact with humans on social media, trying to manipulate and possibly alter their behavior. Fake news can spread to circular reporting, where one sources publish misinformation that is picked up by another news outlet who cites the original sources as evidence that the information is accurate. In an experiment included in the report, people were more likely to trust a news article where they were told that it was from a local newspaper than they were to trust the same article that were told it was from a national newspaper. Now you already know about how fake news spread, you're probably wondering about how its effect on public opinions. The intentional of spread of fake news can lead to polarized society and where individuals become fixed in their beliefs, making it challenging to achieve an agreement on critical issues. Firstly is erosion of public trust. The prevalence of fake news contributes to a growing distrust to traditional media outlets. As audience encounter misleading information, they may become skeptical of all news sources, undermining the foundations of informed citizenship. Next is impact on democratic process. Fake news poses a significant threat to democracy, as it can distort electoral process and influence political outcomes. The spread of misinformation can lead to voter manipulation and polarization. Next is behavioral consequences. Exposure to fake news can affect individual behavior and attitude. Research indicates that belief in fake news can lead to increased partisanship and reinforcement of existing bias, further dividing the society. Now you already know about its effect on society and public opinion. You're probably wondering how to verify the information. Verifying fake news involves checking the source's reputation, examining the URL for slight variation, and confirming the date of publication. Foster a diverse news media ecosystem. Getting your news from multiple sources and outlets allow a wide range of information to come into your regular news content. If the same news is corroborated across multiple channels, there is a higher chance that the information is accurate. Next is critically assess the credibility of sources. With information that come from social media, tracing back to the information to the original sources is a great way to fight misinformation. If the information comes from a less than reputable sources or is contrary to expert advice, be skeptical of the information presented and make a note that the channel where you found the information might not be the best. Lastly is to amplify the voice of expert. Support real experts who distinguish in their fields with any piece of content. Once sourced, it's important to learn about the credential of the authors. Does this authors have an advanced degree related to this field? Does this expert have years of experience in their field? Are they considered reputable by other people in the field? Or is this peer review information from a credible academic journal? Now that we have come to an end, let me briefly summarize the main points. Today we have learned about how fake news and misinformation spread through communications and the effects it has on our society and public opinions and the various ways to verify the information. After hearing this informative speech, I hope it can help you to be aware of how fake news poses a significant threat to social cohesion and public trust, and how we can combat its spreads by applying various fact-checking methods. Every piece of information has its own level of credibility, and by mastering simple verification techniques, we can protect ourselves and others to ensure that the information we share is accurate. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. So my name is Aimia Fika binti Ahmad. So my topic is depression and social isolation among a student. So imagine when someone asking you about you, to you when what come to your mind when someone asking you what the term of the depression. Have you ever felt alone, even you are surrounded by your people? Do you know depression can become dangerous if we ignore it? You know, depression can affect our mental health, what we do in daily life, and what we think. So, as a student, I understand the depression and the challenges that can affect our mental health. Well, have you ever thought the cause relate to academic pressure and communication gaps, signs that affect verbal and non-verbal communication, and ways to support peers and improve communication in our life. So let's start with the first point, which is cause relate to academic pressure and communication gaps. So cause that relate to academic pressure is the tension, discomfort, and the other emotion that caused by pressure is from school, university, and from a family. First is pressure that come from heavy coursework. It can be stressful for that student because student need to handle many difficult assignment at a one time from a different class. Pressure from exam, test exam, and any kind of assessment can put a lot of pressure on that student, so they can perform well in their academic. Next is pressure from a family. When come to the exam, when must give a good grade to their family. If they don't give a good grade, they will be compared with their other sibling or with their other cousin. So now you already know about the cause related to academic pressure and communication gap. So let's move to the next topic, which is sign that affect verbal and non-verbal communication. So a person mental health state can affect how a person will interact with the others. So first, there's a two verbal and non-verbal communication. For verbal communication is a communication that through spoken words to convey messages, which include vocal quality, touch, and pitch when talked with the other people. That next is non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication is a communication is without using any word, any spoken word or any written word. It includes facial expression, body gesture, and body language. Example, poor eye contact that relevant with schizophrenia. This is often associated with a condition such as a major condition depression to that student. So the let's move to the last point, which is ways to support peers and to improve communication. First, we can encourage students to share their opinion regularly by including them in a classroom discussion of various type. So after this, if people ask them about their opinion, they will be more brave to say their opinion, and this can boost their confidence too. Participate in team activities, building and collaboration, like attend a school camping and participate in competition that relate with communication. Next is be clear and concise. Avoid unnecessary word and overly flowery language. So just say what you want to say. Just say what that you want to say. Don't use the word that people don't understand what you want to say. Now we have come to the end. Let me briefly summarize the main point of this topic. Depression and social isolation are common thing among the student that can cause on various type and that can affect our mental health. Remember, you are never truly alone. Reaching out for help is a strength of a is sign of a strength, not a weakness. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Anis Humaira binti Arsham, and my topic today is fear of public speaking among students. Imagine standing in front of a class with everyone looking at you while you try to speak. Many students feel nervous or scared when they have to speak in public. Have you ever felt your hand shaking, your heart beating fast, or your mind going blank while presenting? This fear often happens because of low confidence and anxiety. It can affect how well students communicate and express their ideas in front of others. However, with the right strategies, this fear can be reduced. Now, let's look at the causes of fear of public speaking among students. Fear of public speaking among students is often caused by several factors, which is low confidence and anxiety. One of the main causes is low self-confidence, where students doubt their ability to speak well in front of others. Brown 2019 stated that anxiety also plays a big role, causing students to feel nervous, scared, or uncomfortable when speaking. Fear of making mistakes and being judged by others can increase their fear. They may worry about being embarrassed or because of their friends laugh or criticize at them. Furthermore, lack of public speaking experience can affect students' communication skills. Negative past experience such as failing a presentation can affect students' confidence. Now that we have seen the causes, let's look at the fear of this. Let's look at the effect of this fear on students' communication performance. According to Aether, fear of public speaking can negatively affect how students communicate and present their ideas. One effect is that their voice may have difficulty speaking clearly. Their voice may shake or become too soft. In addition, they may speak too fast or too slow. Fear can also cause students to forget their points while speaking. They may experience brain freeze, and this will make their presentation look less smooth and less organized. Another effect is that lack of confidence can affect their body language. Students may avoid eye contact with the audience. Furthermore, this will make their presentation look less smooth and less organized. Lastly, students may avoid speaking opportunities because of their fear. Students may refuse to present and participate in class. In the long term, this can affect their learning skills and communication skills. Now that we have seen the effects, let's look at the strategies to overcome this fear of public speaking. Southchuk 2017 explains that fear of public speaking can be reduced with practice and right techniques. One way to overcome fear of public speaking is to understand and know your topic well. The better you understand the topic, the more confident you will feel. Furthermore, it helps you to stay on track even if you forget your points. Another strategy is to be prepared before presentation. You should plan your points clearly and prepare materials if needed. Furthermore, you can use small notes or an outline to guide you while speaking. Practice is also important in overcoming fear of public speaking. You can practice in front of your friends or people you are comfortable with. Besides that, asking for feedback can help you to improve your performance. Furthermore, you can also record yourself to improve. Manage your fears and negative thoughts is another useful strategy. Students should think about what they are afraid of and question if it is realistic. At the same time, focusing on positive outcomes instead of fear. Now we have come to the end. Let me briefly summarize the main points. Today we have learned about fear of public speaking among students, including its causes, effect on communication performance, and strategies to overcome it. In addition, this informative speech can help you to be more aware of fear of public speaking and way to overcome it, especially to improve your confidence when speaking in front of others. Overall, fear of public speaking can be reduced by using the right techniques, such as practice, preparation, and positive thinking. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. My name is Nurin Afrina bintu Muhammad Zamzuri, and my topic for today is low self-esteem among university students. Imagine if someone asks you what comes to your mind when you hear the term self-esteem. For sure, what most of us would think first is the word confidence. Well, have you ever thought about the root causes, how it affects the way we communicate, or even the ways we can improve it? These are the common challenges faced by many university students because self-esteem is not just about being confident or being an extrovert, but it is also how we value ourselves. Now let's begin with the causes of low self-esteem among university students. One of it is it often comes from academic pressure, where many students feel like their entire life depends on their grades or CGPAs. It is also fueled by high expectations from their parents or lecturers, and this fear will make them afraid to fail or disappointing those who actually put really high hopes on them. For example, let's say when a student receives a low grades on a test, they frequently tell themselves that they are not smart enough and start comparing themselves with other people. And this feeling is made even worse by constant comparison. For instance, let's say when you're seeing your friends got into D&Ds while you're not, this can lead the student to have doubt in their abilities every single day. Now that you already know the causes, you're probably wondering how it affects the way they communicate. As we all know, low self-esteem among university students makes it very hard for them to communicate, to talk, and share their ideas to others. One common effect is the fear to speak in public, where students often felt like they might say something wrong in front of others and humiliate themselves. And this fear will make them stay silent the whole time and avoid talking to people. Furthermore, it's being extremely shy makes it difficult for them to start a conversation with new people. And instead of making a conversation with new people, they prefer to avoid people, and which will lead to communication problems and prevent them from joining any campus activities or even group discussions. Well, now that you already know the effect, you're probably wondering how we can improve it. There are a few simple ways for students to use to start building their self-worth and confidence again. First, they must stop comparing themselves with other people's and start focusing more on their own progress. This is because I believe that everyone has different journey and different pace in life. Second is they need to surrounding themselves with positive people and positive friends who actually gives good energy and support you during your difficult times and motivate you to becoming a more confident person in the future. And lastly, students should step out of their comfort zone and learn new things and participating in new activities that can help them improve their social skills, their confidence, and their self-esteem. Well, now that we have come to the end, let me briefly summarize the main points. Today we have talked about the causes of low self-esteem among university students and how it slowly leaves an effect on our daily lives and even the ways we can improve it. Low self-esteem may seem small, but if we do not overcome it, it can affect our confidence, communications, and even our mental well-being. And I really hope this speech will help you realize your true worth, and um, I I hope this speech will help you becoming a more confident person in the future. Thank you. That's all from me.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Syed Umar Ashraf bin Syed Amaruddin. Today I will discuss about workplace harassment and bullying. Imagine when someone asking you what's come to your mind when you hear the workplace harassment and bullying. Well, the workplace harassment and bullying involve repeated unwelcome conduct that humiliates, intimidates the employees and which create a hostile environments. I'm sure that the term harassment does not only refer to psychological harm, but it is also includes moral and sexual harassment as well as bullying too. This behavior can cause several health issues and reduce productivity among the workers. Uh, let's take a look at the two types of harassment. So first, verbal and non-verbal harassment is the anatomy of harassment that will hurt someone continually. Verbal harassment is the light toxicity such as insults, slurs, and jokes made at someone's expense. This bully usually judge on person dress, appearance, and characteristic physical. Nevertheless, the non-verbal harassment usually is the quiet toxicity that targets not only someone physical but mental. This means the bully do not leave the bully will leave the someone out of meeting and social lunch to signal that they are not belong in the workplace. Often, people excuse non-verbal bullying as just a joke, but it is harassment and create a hostile environment to victims. Uh, Now let's move on to effect on mental health and team dynamics. So from my research, harassment and bullying at the workplace is like a cancer for employee and must be prevented before it is too late. The effect on the individual are exposure to burnout and lack of self-confidence that can harm to a person's life. When it continue happens, the employee cannot focus on usual work. When a team see bullying go unchecked, it will be discouraged and stop everyone, not just the victims. Creativity also will die in environment of fear. It is what bullying and harassment provides to our environment. Uh, to the next point is I will talk about importance of assertive communication and reporting. To breaking the circle, we can use the power of assertiveness like setting the boundaries. For example, make a calm statement of your right to get the respect. Become silent is green light for the behavior to continue. reporting to the boss or leader if you know someone in trouble to protecting the integrity of the workplace. Uh, uh, I want to summarize this topic. We and to Today we have identified that workplace and bullying can be lead to stress and trauma to a person. After hearing this information speech, I hope you all to be the colleges who speak up and be a leader who respect their employees. Let's let's make a difference for create a peaceful and a better surrounding in the workplace. That's all from my discussion. I hope you all enjoy. Thank you.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Assalamualaikum and very good morning. Before I begin, I have one question. Have you ever been misunderstood by someone because of the way you spoke? Or maybe you have ever felt hurt by someone's words and attitude during the conversation? This situation happen very often in our daily life, whether at campus, with our friends, and with our family. This misunderstanding happens because people still don't know about the lack of self-awareness. My name is Muhammad Ammar bin Muhammad Gifli, and today I would like to talk about lack of self-awareness in communication. So, let's begin. The first question, what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is an ability to perceive and understanding the thing that make you who you are as an individual, including your personality, your action, your emotion, your values, and your thoughts. Essentially, it is a psychological state in which ourself is the main focus of the attention. Now, now we know about self-awareness. Let's go with the second point is the effect of interaction with others. Social connection make more of an impact than we may think. Strong relationship help us both mentally and physically. Here are 4 benefit or effect of interaction with others. The first one is improve mental health. Social interaction and mental health go hand in hand. Strong social interaction is important for mental health. It has been proven to lower rates of depression and anxiety. It also increases self-esteem, which self-esteem and empathy, and leads to more trusting and healthy relationship. The second point is positive social relationship and health. When we prioritize good social connection, we learn more about collaborating with others and practicing habits that promote to soft skills and high value relationship. The third point is higher trust. Interacting more with others helps build and increase trust in oneself and in the people around us. Trust is imperative because it helps people feel comfortable and safe. Better trust leads to better relationship. The last point is lower trust. Surrounding ourselves with people who care about us provide a nurturing comfort that we have naturally craved since childhood. Usually, being around with others help us smile and laugh. So far, we have talked about the effect on interaction with others. So, how do us grow self-awareness? There are many ways you can practice being present with yourself and your emotion. For now, I want to give 4 steps. The first one is meditation. Meditation can be an especially useful practice because you don't need to worry about changing everything. Just simply noticing what happens during a meditation can bring greater awareness of your thoughts and feelings. The second one is journaling. Journaling is a practice of self-reflecting that can help you notice how you think and behave, gain insight which areas in your life you may wish to improve. It can be therapeutic way to gain insight into your life, events and relationship. The third one is talk therapy. During therapy such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, a therapist works with you to address negative thought patterns or behavior. By understanding the underlying cause of your negative thoughts, for instance, you are in more advantageous position to change them and use healthy coping mechanism instead. The last point is develop your emotion intelligence. Self-awareness and emotional intelligence, EQ, go hand in hand. EQ refers to a person's ability to perceive their own emotion and those of others. Someone with a high EQ can effectively respond to emotion with empathy and compassion. Now, we have come to the end. Self-awareness is so important for us to know about ourselves. It sure can boost our confidence, to improve the way we think, changing our personality. That's all from me. Assalamualaikum and goodbye.
Thank you to all participants and for your support and participation in making this program success. We hope that this program has been beneficial to everyone. And once again, thank you and we wish you all the best and continued success. Thank you.